Jen, I'm Justin.
Everyone, we're going to call the meeting to order so we can leave plenty of time for the panel, of course, and we're going to conduct some business here. But first, everyone, good to have you. Elected officials, it's a busy week, I know, but I did Natalie come in, Larson from St. George. Did I miss anyone else sneaking? CC member Larry Myers. And we have our school board officials, of course. Welcome, glad to have you. We also have some visitors from California. We're so glad they joined. There in another club to have you. And we've already told them they'll probably end up in our club. There's no cards on the table. Just note that we use a question for our panel. Please write that down and we'll gather those to answer later. Last month for this year's charity, which was Cherish Family. So you have these Venmo. If you want to Venmo, you can use that. If you want to donate cash, you can give that to Star. We'll do one last to honor that charity. And then next month, you're going to hear about our new charity for 2023. We're always being supportive of that. Other announcements tomorrow with Senator Mike Lee, and he's bringing guest Senator Ted Cruz. You'll want to be there. Good applause. There's some flyers on the back together at 10:15 at the Staley Farms. If you need that address, it's on the flyer back. And then we really want to help Senator Lee. If you have the scene, let me know. I've got some info from their campaign. We can't take for granted. We've got a county. And then there's signs out there as well. If you want a yard sign or you want to help put signs around. Let's see what else I missed about that. And then WCRW Leadership Conference that's going to be in Las Vegas. So that's great. That's close by to us. That's through the 13th. So you'll hear more information on that, but you'll want to be registering soon. We'll have our NFRW president and some of our UFRW ladies helping with that. So, and I felt to welcome. Do we have news? I think so. Thank you for being here. Wanted to thank you so much, you panel. And we will move forward with our program. We're going to have a prayer, and then we are going to have the Americanism and Pledge by Jennifer Nilsson, following our membership report from Marion, and we'll go to that point.
Let us pray. We're thankful to Thee to be reunited again and joined by new members and guests. And we're grateful to Thee for rain. We're thankful to Thee for a successful Constitution Day event last month. The speakers, Larry Burgesson, Lorene Cox, Shannon Greer, and Kelly Blake. And we look forward to the knowledge about our local education system. We're grateful to Thee for my GOP plan, the commitment to America, that could begin our return to the Constitution. We're to come forward to expose both the criminality of some and the injustice being done to so many others. We're grateful to Thee for the two legal challenges to President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, both suits constitutional. And we're thankful to Thee for every conservative voice heard nationally who report the truth on the serious issues facing our country. Father, we ask that may they continue to do their best for our students. We ask Thy blessing for Leader McCarthy to put this plan into action and begin the repair of our broken government. We ask Thy for those in the media who report the truth. Lastly, Father, we ask Thy blessing for the people of China and other states, as well as Puerto Rico and Canada, for the families and friends who lost loved coping with the aftermath of the storms, that they may persevere and feel relief soon. In the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
For as long as most of us can remember, Queen Elizabeth II has been the Queen of England. For her birthday, she declared in a public broadcast, "My whole life, let it be devoted to your service." Her life was full of exemplary, and it would be a long life. Queen Elizabeth II became Queen in 1952 at that time, and I think I was in the hospital, so I don't remember much about the actual coronation. On September 8th, 2022, at the age of 96, the longest reign in history. Throughout her long 70-year reign, Queen Elizabeth encouraged a close relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States. 13 different presidents. The only president she did not meet with was Lyndon Johnson. On July 7, 1976, Queen Elizabeth was invited by President to a special ceremony held on the White House South Lawn. The occasion was the bicentennial year. During that ceremony, President Ford said, "The wounds of our parting in 1976 healed long ago. Americanism is one of our truest allies and best friends." Later that Queen responded by saying, "History is not a fairy tale. What is the shared language and traditions and history have given us a common and just." On July 1st, 1999, Queen presented to the Scottish Parliament a gift, a beautiful mace or club, which is an ancient symbol. Designed and crafted by Michael Lord, silver and gold panned from Scottish rivers. Engraved on its head are wisdom, justice, compassion, and integrity. Important ideals these should strive for. Much can be said of Queen Elizabeth, but perhaps the Canterbury Justin Welby has said it best at her funeral. Changing and frequently troubled world, her calm and dignified presence has faced the future as she did with courage and with hope. News that shortly after her death, a double rainbow appeared over Buckingham Palace for a remarkable woman. And I'm sure she is now with Philip and her horses that went on before her. I'm also sure that she traveled on a late sandwich. If that needs an explanation, come see me. Please stand, let's do the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
You can take it out if you want.
You should. There we go. So this way you can see me actually. We have 43 new members for 2022. Haven't recognized yet. Now when I say your name, Dan, if you are here,
today. Laura Bean, Kathy Hart, Gloria Davis, and we also have a full of folks that are just checking us out and are probably going to. So we've got a bunch of guests as well. W has 101 members and 21 associate members. Of the members and associates, 70 are GEM members. These are club beyond the $35 annual dues and have essentially a fundraise. They in turn periodically receive some VIP special guests an hour before they get to meet with them alone. So and also some get free lunches from time to time. So when I call the names of our silver members, if you could please, I believe I called Laura Bean, but she didn't show. Am I right? Kathy, cool. She is a silver member. And then our gold is Gloria Davis and Kathy Wright. Some new members came in and didn't pick up their badge, and on the table on the way out. So please go ahead and do. Okay, I guess that's it, and enjoy your dinner.
Thank you so much. These ladies put in a lot of effort, so we appreciate Bracken that you see doing Americanism a lot. She does the newsletter piece as well, so be sure to read that. Doing that for us today. She has a special connection to the UK, so it's very, very interesting to hear of the Queen meeting with all of our presidents. So, all right, I know on our program it says literacy report. We're actually going to excuse Charlotte today. She's month. For those of you that don't know, we donate some sets of books to our local. So she'll tell you what the book is this year next time. And then lastly, you should have received your email voting members proposed bylaw changes. We're trying to get those up to speed with the newest NFR bylaws, and we also want to maintain our club's history and anything unique to us. There's been some discussion, maybe some things that need to be discussed in addition. So I wanted to make a motion. Let's start.
I'd like to make a motion to table it so that we can.
Okay, so I have a motion to table the voting for today. Do I have a second? Oh, second. Great. If there is no discussion, we will vote. All in favor of tabling the motion to vote on the bylaws. We will do that at a later time. And are there any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you for that. We will make sure with them, and then we'll do an official vote. So thank you. I'm going to turn the time over to Shirley to a program. Thank you.
Wonderful nails. My goodness. Welcome. Okay, for our panel today, let's start with Larry Richard. Where are you sitting, Richard Holmes? Larry Richard's seat. Richard Holmes is a minute thing. We thank him for coming and taking the superintendent's place as the assistant. But a note about Richard, who is stepping up for us today. He loves alfalfa. He knows everything about cows and loves to take care of, I don't remember who it was, but that's pretty cool. He's quiet, but very, and it sounds to me like he's the kind of guy that people would love to be around. Kelly Blake, who isn't my cousin Kelly Blake, but he's the other Kelly Blake. Come take your seat. Kelly, the other Kelly. I understand they get a lot, and I've told him he ought to start answering some of them. You know, give his due counts, or call Richard. It can help. All right, the board president, and he loves anything and everything barbecue. Way he is found on a boat, on a lake, preferably Lake Powell. Or he's off traveling on another adventure. No one. Shannon Greer. Come on. He is the epitome of an involved swim mom. A happy place is the beach. She is the longest serving member of any charter school in the whole county, and there are 7 or 8 of those charter schools. I hear she makes fantastic caramels. I would like to today, and there are several who have called her awesome. I don't tell my sources ever. Lorene Cox is a school board member since the time of school board member. She grew up on a ranch, which naturally means work very hard. Her weakness is not sweet, except for brownies. She loves a good brownie. So if you ever need a reason, make her a really killer brownie. She loves to travel, has spent 6 months abroad, and I didn't hear if it was Austria or Australia. Which was Austria? Oh, that's even better. All right, Austria. She loves to paint. See some of her art. That's your board. You will each have a while, 8 minutes to tell us what's current, and then we're going to throw questions at you. I shall do that. Okay? No, I just put it down with that down.
We're to what's happening in Washington County School District. Here we have approximately 1,200 brand new students, about 100 of these, the rest in our secondary schools. That's been a trend over the last couple. We contribute that to high home prices and young families not being able to move here. It has been in secondary schools. We are also next fall to our CT High School, Career Technical High School. It's the phone CT High School in the state, and meaning when I say standalone, they'll go there their 9th grade year and remain there throughout their whole they won't go back and forth to their other high school section of extracurricular athletics or other events that they can do. That's what it means when we say a standalone school. We have a principal on that school, and that's out on the southern corridor at the end of River. Completion date was supposed to be this. Oh, sorry, she wanted me to stand up. Completion date was supposed to be this year, but the other big projects, it's slow with supplies, and so it will be done. They told us yesterday, they hope end of February. That's really the big news. I'll pass it on down.
excited about that school, by the way. In the CT High. In our CT High, it won't have those things. It's merely current technology with their core curriculum as well as a certificate. And that will allow them to move forward to Dixie Tech, or just straight out into the work field. And be a great opportunity that it'll hold about 800 students to begin with. And I think there'll be a lot more that want to go. So I'm really proud of our district. Through the years, we were able to stay open 5 days a week. And our scores reveal that. Our scores are doing wonderful in our district, and I'm really proud of that. So, go to Kelly. Kelly, no.
Nope.
Who do you want? Shannon.
Let's let Shannon do.
Wait, run down the road. That's fine. No worries.
I would share with you today a little bit about charter schools in our area because it's relatively new. Immigrants have been around 110 plus years, give or take. In Southern Utah was established 22 years ago, and that was the Tuacahn High School, first high school, which is pretty amazing and a great thing to say that that's where it started from. A little bit of rebranding, but they're still serving students in Southern Utah. So we have in this area serving students from kindergarten through 12th grade. Some of independent, and then we've got success associated with the college, plus we're attending and participating in the online charter school. So I thought that was an interesting thing people don't know. The other thing that we run up against, events that or questions that we get asked, are charter schools, is there a tuition? Do you have to pay to attend a charter school? We receive the same funding that the district schools do. So one of the things that will help parents and students understand that difference. Some of the charter schools, all of the charter schools in authorized from the state charter school board or from Utah Tech, school districts that are also sponsoring and authorizing charter schools. So there's a gamut of people. The next question we always get is, are your teachers certified? Are they certified? Is yes, but it might be an LEA or a local to our school licensing, but they're all certified and highly qualified, just like the rest of the schools. Things that are happening, we've got the shift from Tuacahn to Utah Arts Academy has allowed a lot on and branch out, which is quite amazing. So they're doing great things, they're attending competitions. Some of them are going national, which is kind of exciting for our schools. But a minute about some of the events that you mentioned that we were able to stay open during. Hats off to all of the educational leaders in our community to make that happen, because I think that was great. And I know that's challenges. I'm sure we could spend some time on that. But the most important thing to take a look at our student data. Coming back in from COVID, we saw that our students had there was a deficit. Intentionally spent time focusing on what we needed to do district-wide. What do we need to do to help those students overcome that gap and get back on track to where they need to be, in moving down the educational path that was intended pre-COVID. So I feel like educators in St. George have done a really good job at helping our students move forward. And that's not an easy thing to talk about, right? What I wanted to just, because they asked to talk about that, is the fact that and this is not just charter school-wide, this is district-wide, this is the state of Utah, as we look at funding and as we look at do with less for our students, and as we take a close look at that, all of us, and we're hoping to have some time, bend some ears to streamline some of those processes so that those fundings that we receive are not as complicated to administer. So those are some of the challenges that we face. Yes.
Okay, you heard a little bit about the Washington County School District. It is live, and we've got some amazing things going on. Richard's talked a little bit about our CT building that's going to do amazing things for our county. Being the first of its kind in Utah, we're very we've done a lot of things on a leading edge. We've just thinking about some of the great things we've had. We talked about being able to keep our kids. Everybody else was at home. My grandkids, a couple of my grandkids live in Las Vegas, doing school from home for a year and a half, and they are struggling with it. Our kids have been able to go to school. They've been able to have in-person education, the most effective way to teach our children. We've our school out in Hilldale. You know, that school, that area, any education for 13 years, shut down. We had to open the school out there, and we jumped on it. It was stories that were going on out there. I have to say, I came out physically and watched the way they are thriving and growing and doing amazing things. This year was the first year to have their own football team. I don't think that's ever happened. And they're playing, and they're doing very excited for them. They're doing some amazing things out there that because it's now having the opportunity to have education. I think about not only that, we're going in our high schools. I don't know what we're going to do if the growth of our sector is going up. We may have to build faster than we expected. But we're that we've been working on this project now with the bonding, and the way that we bond and is basically by issuing bonds. But in the last 6 or 7, the rates have been, we've been able to get a lot of these bonds issued at sub 1%. So we've been able to take the monies that have been earmarked from our taxes and pay down those bonds down to a point where possibly in the next year to 2 years, we're going to be able to, from paying debt service over into a savings account, so that when those schools come, we don't have to go out for bonds anymore. We're able to take the money that we have and spend, and we're able to use those funds to build schools as they are needed. And I think this is going to be taxpayers millions of dollars in paying interest. That we've got some amazing things going on in our district, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide education in Washington County. Thank you.
I'm going to take a liberty here because I just want to shout out COVID years. If we wouldn't have had our teachers, bus drivers, our school lunch people, who were so passionate that children need to be in school, if for 1 minute one of and had to stay out, and we had to close down a school, then another story. And they were all so willing to be there, compromised. They were there. And I just want to shout out, so just so appreciative of them.
Keep talking, I'm reading the questions. I guess. All right, let's see. I read it and I pass your card. It's because I forgot my glasses, okay? To what I've read. How many Dale School?
Richard? Thank you. The elementary school all the way up to the high school?
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't say so. Yes.
It went right at elementary, and that's the K6, and then the high school is right around 340 through 12. Yes.
Okay, that's just.
How many graduated?
This year, one student graduating, and I believe this year is the biggest 70 students that will graduate.
That one got the valedictorian.
Everything, yes.
Wow. What further safety measures students as school violence and shootings increase?
So the appropriated funding for, we've done a lot of things. We've installed, so basically single entry doors, right? And that will allow that school to be if something happens. We've got locks on the doors, so the individual classroom. What else, Richard? We've done a lot of, there's been millions of dollars spent in upgrade.
Right, in every middle school, we've added an extra set of doors, security doors. So, and through the, it's easier to do with the elementary as well as the intermediate. But you have to remember the middle schools, you also have, I believe in every canyon right now, a seminary building fairly close. And so those students would bring a different area. So we try to funnel everyone through these main set of doors that are locked, that the only time they're open are like right at the very beginning. The students can come in, but as soon as the bell rings, they're locked, and all visibly are held within there, and they're buzzed in at that point in time. That's one security measures that we've taken. We have a great relationship with whether it's the sheriff, St. George Police, Hurricane, Santa Clara, intermediate, middle, and high have SROs appointed to them, and they are also just funding wise, we have not been able to go, but those are some of the things that we've done.
And we split that funding between the sheriff's office or the police in funding the SROs.
In addition to our facilities, making sure that our facilities have the glass and the doors and the things like that, and look at what training do we need to provide to our students to make sure that in an event like this, they know how to be exposed to that, right? So we do trainings with our teachers, with our staff. We do trainings familiar because at least have an idea of how to respond in the case of something.
I think it needs to be said that also the weeks in that training piece, on training our people to be aware. I was making sure that there's appropriate people on there. Making sure that the appropriate people are, we've done a lot of training in that area. Most people that are trying to do something are trying to sneak in. We try to make sure that they're aware, are they here? It's an important piece.
I just at school this morning, they didn't know who I was, and I had to explain. So you're, all right, the new tech high school will hold 800. How large can that expand?
If we add on, that's the first, so the first phase will hold up to, it's built for up to 800 students. We have a career pathways that the students will pick which ones they want to go to. From obviously that's a big, and they'll try to get them as much training they can for that. It's and some experience with electrical and plumbing that would make it from that high school on up to the hill to the tech school up there, or to the area of employment. We'll have education, a pathway for, we want our youth to, we need good teachers. We've got the health sciences, CNA, EMT, paramedic route. We have the engineering and sciences for our students, computer science. We have we have the I can't remember. I'll think about it.
Well, you just answered the next question.
What?
You just answered it.
Okay.
So I can move on to another one.
So I'm sorry, the one thing we haven't mentioned is this school will begin with 9, the 800 will be inclusive 9 through 12.
Yeah. Another thing too is that school was built so that it could be added upon.
It's not like an ABC school, so you start out with 800 in the current one. As we build that to capacity, we can actually add on another wing and add another wing on. The school that in Houston had approximately 1,500. This will be very similar. So I personally, this is I think we'll see that within the next 10 years. It will be that capacity.
We're targeting a specific group of students. We have students that we know that we engaged in those extracurricular activities. And I had a daughter. I want to get my diploma and go to work on the farm, whatever. And we know that there's a specific group of students that we're targeting. And I think in today's culture and environment, maybe not necessarily St. George or throughout the nation, I think parents will welcome that. We're going into, we can't deviate from the core standards, so science, English, language arts, but the elective courses, that's where we have flexibility. Some construction technology, building homes, that's where all their elective courses are, is so they don't have to come in and have so many credits or take choir or band or things like that. That's their career path. Now we'll have a bus that will pick up every high school in the area as far out as Hurricane. So they're signed up to go to that school. They can go to the high school, catch the bus, and ride it. Snow Canyon, Desert Hills, Crimson, we're going to make them walk. I'm kidding. Sorry, Crimson parents.
So, and now I lost it.
I'm not getting.
You're too young for that, Larry.
I'm not. I'm getting there. I got it. Okay. You need to remember though that do sports or music or anything like that. They have the ability to go to their school and be able to have that same opportunity at those. See, I did remember.
Oh, we have a lane change. Why is there no dress code at the schools? And if they're enforced?
That's mine. Interestingly enough, I would imagine most in this room are very of that, but we also face a rash of, and even legally, which we did a few years ago, that made national, and after consulting with numerous attorneys and getting feedback, we have the current dress code that we have. The biggest thing that we are administrators of taking action is if it becomes and we welcome that because it's easier, it's very disruptive, and they work on dress code every single day. Your what's appropriate may be different from what that parent, or an example would be the ripped torn jeans. Drives me nuts. Was it hurricane high before I came, and just prior to the governor walking in the bill, those students walked by, and I just saw, man, these kids are walking in those. Richard struggles with that, but that's my issue.
Do you think you're very
yeah, that's right. Look, it's a big issue that our administrators struggle with, but it's a fine line of walking about how hard to push without having you or parents come after you because of their rights that they claim. So, yeah.
So most of our charter schools have dress codes as in, they have a uniform by design, hoping to eliminate some of the struggles that if they choose to come, then they're also choosing to do that. We tend to push. And the teachers have to decide, do I spend 35 minutes pushing this day after day after day and dealing with this parent, or do I spend that time educating the student? So it's about to be able to say, it's easy for us to look at it and say, you should just, I love Utah Arts Academy's philosophy is they have a t-shirt, a school t-shirt, and then dress appropriately with some leeway, right? And that's a different conversation. But then when somebody doesn't meet that expectation, they can take that on. But for the most part, that uniform piece helps to make that time-consuming conversation. Did you have something? Oh, I thought you were reaching for it. All right.
Another conversation.
It is. It's a difficult one.
And I will say this, and you uses, and we have the CT high school, and that's our attempt, and our belief that a certain group of students. I think the nice thing about the various different schools is that there are some choices out there for our students to go to, they can support, or that they feel that they will be more successful, or that there are things that they feel are very important. So I'm grateful for that flex in parents and families. Not to say that one's better over the other, that option of ability to choose.
Choice is so important in education.
Well, you think that question was tough. How will you work to protect ideologies? And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Such as CRT, gender, hypersexualized material.
No, I don't want this one, but I'm going to address it anyway. So we actually, as it pertains to CRT, we actually have written to be used in any of our curriculum in any of our schools. history is what history is. To segregate one from another, that's just divisive. Actually, again, that's one thing that was written right straight in the policy. We will not do that. If somebody on the road, it will be addressed and they will immediately. So there's a lot of out there from across the nation to change. In this district, we're about as conservative as you can get. We try to do the very best to teach what's appropriate. At the age level, it's appropriate in addressing the norms of the community.
So we are an open book. If a parent wants to see what, all they have to do is make an appointment. They can come in, they can read it to their desire, and if that's concerning, they can bring it to us.
I'll give you an example. Ones from different backgrounds or different lifestyles or choices, we counsel and teach our administrators that we treat everyone with respect and kindness and dignity, because for whatever reason they're going down one path, there to judge them or belittle them, feel that they are not welcome in that school. But if we have, for example, who is a transgender student, and we have some students in our schools who they work with that administrator to find the best route or for example, to restrooms and that. We have in private restrooms that we can guide them to, and they've been very supportive. Have been too in terms. So that's just an example of how we would work with that. We have not, as of yet. I would anticipate one day we will push the issue where we will use that restroom that we want or that. And I don't know how these folks feel, and maybe I'm answering or speaking for them. I believe that we will say no. That can't happen.
Great. I think that we understand that schools need to be a safe place for our student forum for anything or any person or families, whatever that looks like. So a safe environment for all students is number one goal.
Okay, next question. I think it's a little tougher. Can our district will be in full compliance with HB 374? Returned 23 pornographic books to the shelf recently. I don't know. Whoever wrote it, I don't know what that is.
I believe not the textbook, the bill that came out, and the bill was very specific and had three areas of criteria based on pornographic materials, and if the books that meet those three criteria, then they cannot be removed. If is not happy with that, they can come in and follow the procedure and the process. Important, we can't circumvent it, so that they would have to come out and fill a form, say this here are my areas of concern. They meet with the media person and the principal, not resolved there. Then it goes to a committee established by the district, and they review the book and then make a decision. But the pornographic material is very clear. I don't have the specific terminology, but if it contains acts and things like that,
question, you have something to say about it?
I did write that question. It's super concerning. I've been, for the last year, working email today that they returned 23 books to the shelves because they didn't meet criteria. You're misunderstanding. It's a lot to have it on your school shelves. I have quotes from all of those books.
Just follow the process and go meet with your principal that your students are in.
The schools anymore.
You have to go meet with your children's principal and work with it on that.
I've been told I can't go into the schools anymore, and so I'm being blocked out because I want to face in a public way, and I don't understand.
So when this came down, we wanted to make sure that we had a defensible position. We removed two books from they were because it was brought to our attention. And then when we reviewed it didn't specifically address curriculum. It didn't address libraries. So we went back to our own legal counsel. We went back and we worked with them over several months to find that was defensible in court. And it was in the state of Utah. We were the first one to actually be able to start that. Is it perfect? No. But we are working very hard to try to process in a way so that when it does get challenged, then we'll be able to defend it in court and we'll be able to do so in policy.
Perfect, thank you. How does Washington County state in administrative and student population? An easy question. Lorraine?
Because this fell apart.
Sorry. How does Washington County compare to the rest of the state in administrative and
As in ratios?
Oh,
I guess.
I don't know.
Not sure on the question, but
Okay.
racial-wise, in terms of compared to the number of students, we have approximately 37,000 students that we are preschool age population, and our racial average in terms of the number of administrators compared to the number of students that we.
So what's the largest classroom?
Well, that could probably your PE classes.
They don't
Students.
count. What about classrooms?
It varies from school to school. When we school, we'll base that on the high school at about a 31 teacher ratio. But as they grow and build that schedule hall, and your neighbor may have 35 and you have 27, and it's a way to do that. Our elementaries in the K1 and 2, they try to keep it around 20. Then when they get into those, maybe 20 actually, and then grades 2 on up.
What about the charter?
So similar, very similar. Average, as far as administrative to students, about every 300 students, you would look to a new administrator on funding and support staff. As far as class sizes, a lot of the charters have written into their charter. Ours at George Washington Academy, 25 students or less, which is number, and it is in a K-12 classroom, but that doesn't mean we have to hit that each time. Grades are a little less, some of the other ones are less. But as far as student size, ideally 25 in an ideal world.
To that half of this one, what is happening to the advanced placement program compared to 10 years ago?
There's a lot of options now.
Yes, there are.
There's a lot.
The advanced placement program that she's referring to, the nickname you may remember is AP courses. And those are your high school courses that are tied to a test. It's taught using a rigorous college coursework. If they pass the credit, if they don't pass the test, they just don't receive the credit for college. They still pass the class, that is. What's happened over the last 10 years, courses and interest from students has decreased quite a bit. Implemented partly through legislature, concurrent enrollment is a pure college class. You don't have to take a final AP, you still have to do it. So you can take concurrent enrollment, and they get more terms of students. They'll look at it and think, I can get close to being my associate's degree by taking concurrent enrollment, move right into degree, and be well on my way to get my bachelor's. So it seems to be a greater attraction for our students. They see it and maybe an easier track of getting college credit.
Right along the same line as this, what kind of early college opportunities are available for secondary students, high school graduation? I think you just...
A lot. They can earn, parents be careful you don't push your students to our, remember, they're high school kids and experience. Superintendent, if he was here, he would share an experience he had at Dixie High where a student was so involved, had so many concurrent enrollment courses, and was just about on the verge of a breakdown, says, I cannot do it anymore. So I think we get those concurrent enrollment classes so you can knock out some credits that won't cost me as much money. But there are so many opportunities to even include now some online concurrent enrollment courses that are available for our students.
Can I just add, just briefly, like for example, our Success Academy, so the students, if we enter that program as a sophomore, will graduate, given that they complete all things that are there, will graduate with their associate's degree.
I'm a board member of this. It's one of the top high schools in the nation. Success Academy is the Utah Tech and a campus at Southern Utah University. And it's a great school. And those students who enter, they're very challenged in terms of the rigor and coursework, its degree. But they do an outstanding job at that school.
Sounds good.
It is a charter school, but that public schools. So, and that, thank you for asking that question, because that's kind of the confusion a lot of people have. It's a three-way partnership. I'll let you speak to that in just a second. But so charter schools are in tax funding, and it's open to anyone who wants to join or qualify. In this case, so that should answer that. And then you wanted to speak a little bit more.
Yeah, on the Success Academy, we'll go, if they're selected from Desert Hills High School, they'll go half of it, and then the other half at Success Academy. As they move into their senior year at Success Academy, and maybe one or two courses at Desert Hills.
Where was all this when I was in high school? In the 60s. Okay, regarding paying off the bonds and paying cash, isn't there a tax increase in 2023? I just read it like it was somebody's address.
No. What happens is funding ratios that are there, part of it goes for M&O, debt service. At that point, we'll be able to shift the money debt service, because we paid the debt service down so much that we'd be able to take, without being a tax increase, it'd be revenue neutral or tax neutral. We'd be able to move debt service over into the M&O so that we can And then when a school comes and is a need for it, then we build it. That's without increasing taxes. We, as a school district, can control home values in our county. But by law, we're only allowed to collect year over year. So if values go way up, ours actually can't collect more money. We're only allowed to collect what we need or what's been, and we can allow for growth, but that's it.
Okay. You guys, next time, get my glasses again. Are our schools gun-free zones and any teachers on?
It's a complicated question when you put the two together. So I would say no, because we have SROs there that have sidearms, and we do, but I am certain, without doubt, I would say the mall may have a teacher or an employee carrying a gun.
Okay.
But we they just need to make sure they follow the law that surrounds.
But students.
No. Students. I knew you were gonna add that. At least I was hoping you would, yes. You feel better as a grandparent.
Okay.
Nice.
Anything that looks remotely.
Anything remotely?
Yes.
My grandson is saying.
Safe schools policy.
Right. It's the safe schools policy, so anything that looks or appears as a weapon is not permitted. And then each school will have their own policies, or the directors would have to follow. So our goal is to make it a safe place.
Tell that to the 7-year-old grandson who came home in tears because he was using his finger. Should have done that. With the proposed revisions to Title 9. Well, that's a 9. Let's start over. Hi, I'm Charlotte. Yes. With the proposed revision to Title 9, how will you protect girl students?
For the question, what it means in terms of that, if you're talking about athletics, okay. I know that they're still working on that within our state. It's an extensive process. I don't know the process before you take place. They don't believe it's so extensive. Talking to one of our leaders who works directly there, it's so extensive in terms of a male student who transitions and wants to play on the female team. They don't believe anyone would ever do that. But in terms of the national Title 9, we have has not come to our state in terms of this is that's not happened.
I think we'll see more as the legislative season launches.
And I think they'll write state policy to push back against it.
That's our hope.
Yeah, and I've been told they intend to make a committee that would determine whether or not that child was too strong against the girls. So I don't know how they'll do that, but I've been told that. So see what the legislature comes up with next year.
Stay tuned, right? Yeah, stay
I like that.
Yeah.
Come back next year. I'm sorry. Is critical race theory and transgender education being taught in our schools? No? Okay.
No.
Just know.
No. Just no.
We already did that.
What are your priorities concerning superintendent? Don't look at me.
I'm a new superintendent.
Perfect.
Then we'll go out, ready to go out to, what's the word, Kelly? 15th. The applications will be sent out and
Can't you tell Larry into staying here?
We tried.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity I was on the board when we hired Larry. And it is an extensive process. As our district has grown to the size we are now, we're the 5th largest district in the state. The choosing of our next leader, educational leader, is going to be extreme. And as you elect, elections are coming up, and as you elect more, that they have the experience to be able to manage that, because it's going to be very important that the right person lead this. And I intend to retire, and I applaud him for it. He needs to stay with family. So now as a district, we're doing everything we can. We hire the right person next time. And no, I said we have the right person now.
I'm not the only one who makes a mistake with a mind.
Lots of things I shouldn't.
Thank you, Kelly. We're kindred spirits. If not thousands of students being taken out by parents, what are you doing?
Is that a question of, like, parents?
Take it out of school.
Moving to other options, moving to online programs.
How about
Former teacher, that's a popular thing for parents.
Particularly in some of our areas where parents have the ability to take off and want to take their children with them a lot, you know. And so each of our schools, I'll speak to charter schools and then I'll let the district. But we have policies in place that govern what a student can do after 10 days if we from our school. So it's important for us to keep, and that's just district-wide, excuse me, charter schools, that if they've left for 10 days, they've gone back to the district school. And so we're going to make sure that we've accounted for that, steps go in place. But most of the time, we know where they are, and they are on the extended vacation, put in place processes. But it's difficult as a teacher, students, particularly surrounding fall break, spring break, as they extend it from a 1 week to a 2. I don't know if that was the question that you were after, but
I didn't ask.
it's common. Do you want to?
It's a concern, but there's not a lot we can do about it. It's a model. I think since the pandemic, it seems to have gotten worse. We're usually 180 days of school per year. In all reality, you could have us used for 90 days, and they can make up that work and pass.
And
there's no longer a mandatory attendance for our students. It is what it is. The parents, and it's kind of you want that flexibility, but then unfortunately some take advantage of it.
go ahead now.
But what we do have that's really cool is has an online school, Utah online school, and we'll encourage people if they're going to need to be gone for a certain amount of time, and it's a great way to be able to have school within our district and graduate through online school, Utah online school.
That was going to be my follow-up. So Great Minds, the unintended consequence of that legislation that was passed was that parents are now taking the idea to provide parents flexibility to do what family needs to do is a great philosophy. Sometimes that goes beyond and what you would expect to be a normal amount of time out of a building.
Sure. I think last one.
Yes, this is the last one. Madam President, how can we obtain information out of candidates running for school?
You can actually go to that, and if put mine on because I'm running this time, and
Washington
I don't-
County.
what's that?
Washington County has one.
Washington County does have one, oh, yeah, just vote.utah.gov. And it should have on there each, but the best way to do it, information for that individual is there. You've got their email, you've got their phone number, their questions, call them, talk to them. That's the very best way. I've had people stop at my own ask questions. Not exactly the way I'd like to have it done, but.
Okay.
And I missed
promise
the deadline.
you,
Information is not on the vote.utah.gov, so sorry about that. By like 2 minutes. Anyway, you're welcome to always email. I am up for election and I'm happy time.
I think this panel I'm impressed with the knowledge, which I didn't know about before. I just knew you were nice people, made caramels and went to the beach and stuff. I have been very impressed with your answers. Thank you. Thank you for taking time. Appreciate it. I promised you'd get out of here by 1, so stand up. Thank you.
We really appreciate you guys taking the time to be with our group, so thank you. I also failed to mention when Michelle Tanner came in, so thank you for being here. Thank you so much, everyone, for your month, and we will be talking about our charity. So I will take a motion to adjourn, and we'll excuse you. Thank you. All right, have a great rest of your day.